Welcome back, everyone. It's been weeks of different episodes of political drama from Rivers State. This is a new week, and we did not know what to expect. But a burning issue is the tension over local government extension. Governor Fubara says appointing caretaker chairman for LGAs is in defense of democracy and vowed not to allow a wrong precedent. But there have been arguments and counter-arguments over the constitutionality of tenure elongation for local government chairmen and appointment of a caretaker committee. In all of this, Rivers State APC has called for the declaration of a state of emergency. Chairman of the APC caretaker committee in the state, Tony Okocha, made the call when he blamed the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, for the unrest. Says the state is at war and the only way for residents to live in peace is for the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the state. Tonight, let's speak with Chief Tony Okocha, caretaker chairman, APC Rivers State chapter, on lingering Rivers political crisis. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Welcome to Politics Tonight.
Thank you again, and very grateful for having me.
Right. Thank you for joining us. So for the second time in less than 4 months, your party, the All Progressives Congress, has called for a declaration of a state of emergency. And according to you, Rivers State is in a state of war, and a state of emergency is what can tame this rising wave of political crisis. Why do you think this is the best solution for your state?
Okay, let me start by saying that I feel sad, and I'm sure that every genuine Rivers citizen will feel sad, that Rivers State is on the news on the very wrong reasons very recently. The other times we used to see Rivers State in projects commissioning and all of those. But right now, what we see is demonstrations, protests, left, right, and center. Anyway, to go straight to the question, we have called for a state of emergency. It has become auspicious. When we say this declared state of emergency in the state, one will expect that it should be seen as advisory, because we have raised the issues, we have raised the indices that are palpable and that are likely to lead to war full-blown in the state. We do not have to wait until our people are all killed. We do not have to wait until the state becomes an anarchist state, the way it is degenerating to. We would not have to wait to see a governor deliberately and flagrantly disobeying court orders and disrespecting the court. Before he went into the caretaker committee's thing, the Court of Appeal had, in a case that is instituted and is before them, said that status quo should remain. And it was just about 2 other days for the Court of Appeal to sit again. He goes to set up a caretaker committee. Of course, that is a flagrant disregard for the Court of Appeal and the laws of the land. So we are in trouble in the state. That is the truth of the matter. Now you see protests and counter-protests and all that. Now what the people did today, what the people did today, the demonstrators did today, is commendable. Because you would have seen that NOLGE and organized labor in Rivers State had issued a 4-day ultimatum and threatened the IG of police and the CP that they must move out the policemen who had come to take over the councils to protect the lives and property of the local government. They had given that ultimatum, and the other people are saying, look, no, we want the police to stay, because police presence there establishes some decorum. Let us allow the police to stay so that neither of the two groups will enter the place and do whatever that may be uncouth and uncanny.
All right, Chief Okocha. So you're calling for... kindly hold on. You're calling for the declaration of a state of emergency. But I'm sure you know or you're aware that the Rivers State Ethnic Youth Leaders Coalition and other groups have faulted that call. I mean, they're saying that declaring a state of emergency rule in the oil-rich state would undermine democratic tenets and worsen the situation for the people. How do you react to those opposing your call?
Well, those are jaundiced opinions of groups that have been promoted by the system, by the state government. And then they are entitled to their opinion. What we are saying, we are not enemies of the state. We are not. If a state of emergency is declared, as it were, in the state, one way or the other, it will also affect my functions. Okay? So, but what we have done is to create the alert. Okay? We have advised the system, see what we are looking at. It is for the system to go back and say, okay, this is right and this is wrong. But I can rest assure you, I can tell you here in good conscience, that since we made that call, a lot of things are beginning to shape in. The boys that are being unleashed from the creeks and from the shanties, who used to brandish sophisticated ammunitions on the streets of Port Harcourt and maim innocent citizens, they are reining them in. Are you not aware that in course of the demonstration or the protest that they led, that 3 persons died, including a policeman at the Omoma local government area?
I get that, Chief Okocha, but there are those now calling for the police to vacate the council secretariat. What happens if that happens? Actually, what's the implication of that? What will be the consequence?
No, there'll be total mayhem. There'll be total breakdown of law and order because 2 groups are contending to the ownership of the councils. And when they meet there, you will be able to say what will happen. So it is just, for me, I don't know the desperation, in fact. I don't know why the desperation. I don't know what the reason for the desperation. In few days, the Court of Appeal will come out with a decision, either left or right. Whichever way it goes, the other group will yield. So the desperation is something else, and is capable of causing serious mayhem in the state.
Right, so but one of the biggest questions has been, why do you think the governor has refused to allow local government elections?
That question should actually be thrown to the governor. Because I recall that on the 19th of January 2024, I raised this issue of local government election in an expansive media engagement. Because it was the same day that we visited with the chairman and members of the RISIEC. And of course, you and I know that the RISIEC is set up just for one purpose: conduct local government election. So we visited the chairman and his colleagues in their office under the auspices of IPAC. I mean, Inter-Party Advisory Council. That is the meaning. And on that meeting, our chairman spoke. Our chairman is of the PDP. He spoke on our behalf and told the chairman of the commission and his members, they were all seated, that we have come, apart from congratulating them on their appointment, that the next other reason, very strong reason that we came for, was the issue of conduct of local government election, that they should set up the process and inform us. January 19th. And when we finished from that meeting, and we came out, the media people swooped on me like bees. And they asked me what was the issue. And I told them that the issue was clear, that we had come to tell the RISIEC to conduct election. Meanwhile, once we make that presentation before the RISIEC under IPAC, the chairman, who is a retired judge, stood up to it and said to us that they were ready. They have everything in place, but that they are looking for the enablements and the logistics. And where will that come from? Of course, from the state government. Even INEC cannot work to conduct election empty-handed. So that we should help in promoting this, so that maybe it will quicken the governor's steps to be able to fund the commission, and then the election will be conducted. The revered judge is aware of the law that says that 3 months to the expiration of the council, the incumbent chairman of the council, the RISIEC will start or will commence the process of election, fresh election. And that process will begin with a timetable and all of those. And that within 21 days to the expiration of that incumbent ESCO in the local government, that election must be conducted. It is the law. It is not me. And the governor has the law on his table.
All right. But
we remanded him on the 19th of January, which means he was very well on time. But he said that he couldn't have conducted the election from what we have from the grapevine because there was political tension. What political tension was he referring to? When he could go from one local government to the other local government in what they call Thanksgiving, just to provide themselves a stage to be able to denigrate, derogate, malign people. Have you seen a Thanksgiving service that people will take the stage and begin to call names and call them armed robbers and call them all manner of things?
Kindly hold on there. I mean, at the moment, it is the legal caretaker committee versus tenure elongation. But I mean, it's sad enough that caretaker committees have become a prevalent practice in different states across the federation. I'm aware that about 17 states in Nigeria today are operating the caretaker system as against the Supreme Court judgment that this is illegal. And I'm very happy that you're here because even in Benue State, an APC state is currently operating a caretaker system after sacking elected LG officials. First, how unfortunate is it that we're not prepared to enforce the law? And isn't it high time that institutions woke up to their responsibilities of ensuring that the Nigerian Constitution is not violently violated?
Well, I'm not privy to what is tenable in the 17 states you are talking about where they have caretaker committees. I'm talking about Rivers State where we have a law. We have a law outlawing caretaker committee, leadership of the head of local government, or any other nomenclature. We have a law. That law has not been overridden by anybody. That law is in place. So that's the point we're making. We're saying that caretaker committee, of course, how did the caretaker committee thing come? If the governor had conducted election before or within the period provided for by the Constitution, will anybody even think of caretaker? It is just a deliberate attempt for the governor to do mischief. Don't forget that the governor, in the full glare of Nigerians, said that jungle has matured. What do you think was the implication of that? Jungle has matured. So it means that he had laid out all these processes and procedures to be able to create some mayhem. And that, as a party, the APC in the state, was saying that we need protection because the fight in Rivers State, the political crisis in Rivers State, is self-inflicted by the governor. And that the war that is the war that is looming in Rivers State right now is between Governor Sim Fubara versus Governor Sim Fubara. No APC member is involved. No citizen, no other citizen, free citizen of Nigeria is involved. People are going about their businesses. But it is Sim Fubara fighting himself. So we as a political party, we will not just stand aloof to say, okay, it doesn't concern us, but we need protection. A situation where people brandish guns and show to the world that they have these ammunition that even our security agencies do not have. And they go about freely, in full glare, freely, and maim people. They will be walking the street and they see you with your phone. They say, bring that phone, and you refuse. They will cut your hand with a machete, and the phone, they will take it by force. Give us money, and you refuse. They will cut you somewhere. and they collect the money by force. Is that the kind of situation? Is that the kind of society we should encourage?
All right.
So that's why we said that we are sitting on the keg of gunpowder in Rivers State.
And that's why I'm asking that beyond Rivers State, how can we make sure that some governors follow the rule of law?
Okay, it's simple. Now, the Supreme Court had ruled in some cases when the matters came to them. Now, as we speak, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice had instituted a case against the 36 governors of Nigeria. That matter is before the Supreme Court. Parties have joined issues. Supreme Court has reserved their judgment. And anytime soon, they will call for the judgment. Let's see what the Supreme Court will say finally. Since right now it concerns the 36 states. See, there is this. We operate on rule of law. We have three arms of government, which are clearly defined. We have the legislative arm, the executive arm, and the judiciary. And of course, the matter has gotten to the point of a judiciary. Let's not wait for the interpretation.
All right. So, I mean, looking back at how the genesis of this crisis and how many didn't believe this would get so bad. If Rivers State was an APC state, what would your party have done differently? I'm asking because some stakeholders have continued to wonder why it has become difficult for the PDP to call both men to order.
Exactly the case. I had raised that in one of my engagements, especially when the national PRO of PDP jumped into one of my offerings and used uncanny and uncouth words. And I said to him, mildly, I said, I do not think that this is what you should do. Now, the feuding parties are your members. They are members of the PDP. You have allowed the crisis to linger for nearly a year. You are not able to resolve. And you think that as a party, as a political party in the state, whose business is to attempt to demarket the government in power, even when they are doing well. Talk less of a government that is clueless and rudderless and visionless. I said, that's what you should have done. To see how you can bring the feuding sides, who are your members, so a truce. It's not about jumping to say, oh, APC is saying this. APC want to take government of Rivers through the back door and all that. Do you really have a government? Did we elect PDP government to turn Rivers to rivers of trouble? Every day you have one problem or the other. And there are a lot of issues to be resolved. A lot of issues that are pertinent, that are salient to handle.
All right.
I have raised a concern.
We'll talk about those issues when we come back from this break. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Tonight, we're discussing the lingering Rivers political crisis. And I've been speaking with Tony Okocha, caretaker chairman, APC Rivers State. Chief Okocha, thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Now, I mean, before we went on that break, you raised a point. And let me try and buttress that point, because we know that in politics, fragmentation or internal crisis within a rival party is most likely a blessing to the other. In this case, a blessing to the APC because it somehow strengthens the fold of your party and ultimately weaken the PDP ahead of 2027. But let me take you back to the peace agreement, otherwise called a political solution. Why was it hard for this agreement to work?
Well, first is that I feel sad that an agreement under the supervision of the #1 citizen of this country is that dismissed and almost to be thrown to the trash can. Now, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, after being inundated with a myriad of calls, open letters and all of those, from well-meaning Nigerians to intervene in the crisis of Rivers State, made out his time from his very busy schedule, invited all the relevant and critical stakeholders to Abuja. I was in that meeting. And if you look at that document, I signed to it. And you see my name, Chief Tony Okocha, APC Rivers. It was clear. The governor was the first to sign to it. And of course, now what we're hearing now, they are saying, is that, oh, that document is a political solution and all that. But you have put your signature to it. And you call yourself His Excellency. I don't know what people mean when they bear the name His Excellency and they start to do very uncouth things. You have signed to it in the presence of Mr. President. Beyond assenting to that presidential proclamation document, beyond assenting to it, the president gave the opportunity to speak to Rivers people. He took the microphone, thanked Mr. President, thanked Rivers people that were in Abuja on this matter, and assured Mr. President that he was going to follow to the letter all the issues raised on this declaration document. And he had a request to make, and the president said, please make your request. He said, look, the only request I have, Your Excellency, is that please, everybody that fought on my side on this matter should not be victimized anyway. And the president said, yeah, nobody will victimize anybody. That was how we left. The next day, in keeping with that decision, the State Assembly, because that was in Des 1, the State Assembly all retired back to Port Harcourt, convoked a session of the House, and immediately dropped all the proceedings, impeachment proceedings, that they had initiated, because it was one of the issues the president raised. In fact, it was number one on that document, on that eight indices of that proclamation. So, isn't that good faith? Now, can the governor, in good conscience, say that he had presented the budget to a legitimate assembly of 27, led by Honorable Martins Chike Amegule as Speaker of the House, which is contained in that document? Can the governor say that he has conducted local government election, which is in Index 8 of that document?
So why did you think the governor, having agreed to this, appended his signature, and as a point says, nothing is too big to sacrifice for peace in Rivers State, to garnish donors on this agreement? Do you blame his supporters?
No, that's even the governor himself. Those things are mounted. They are not from their consciences. And so, if you are the leader of a people on a particular thing, you should be able to rein in overzealous people. There are people who are crisis merchants. That's how they survive. Their business is to attempt for any reason and at every time to see how they can unleash one thing or the other because of their pockets. So if you are the leader of that kind of group or those kind of people, and you know that some of those councils are dangerous to the overall interest, you should be able to rein them in and say, no, I have committed to Mr. President. I have said that there's no price that is too much for peace in Rivers State. Don't forget that as soon as we left that meeting, somebody, in fact, who was part of that meeting, came out on television 2 days later to say that the governor signed the document on duress. Those are the entrepreneurs. Yes, Chief David Briggs. Okay. Chief David Briggs did. Okay? So, now the issue is, he was in the meeting. At what point was the governor subjected to any form of duress? At what point did the environment become hostile to the governor? It was a convivial meeting. Mr. President took his time to advise us, to encourage us to remain within the tenets of democracy. Because that he fought for it, he danced for it. He went to, he suffered inconveniences for democracy. And that now he is president. He took his time, advised us as a father will advise his children. Okay? So those are the contractors.
There are those who have also said, Chief Okocha, there are those who also say what the governor is doing presently in Rivers State is asserting his position as the chief security officer of the state, as the #1 citizen of Rivers State, as someone who is refusing to be controlled or pushed around.
Oh, come on. That is defeatist. That is my answer to it. Is anybody in contention with Governor Siminalayi Fubara? Is anybody in contention with him as governor of the state? I said he has self-inflicted political crisis. He had brought ant-infested faggots to his house. So the lizards are now going visiting his house. That is natural. When you go to the farm or the bush and bring firewood that has ant and drop it in the house, you know that lizard feeds on those things. Lizards will come. That is the issue in Rivers State. Nobody is after him. He sits down there at his own time and begins to machinate something that is unthinkable. He had this mindset already of betrayal. Well, I don't want to even speak of that on that. But if I have opportunity, I will speak on the issue of betrayal. Because I was part of his making.
Betrayed who?
I was. Eh?
Okocha, who betrayed who?
Hello?
You said you want to talk about the issue of betrayal. So I'm asking.
Do we have time for it? I thought you have other questions. Because this one would take a whole length of time. Okay, let me just do a snippet of what I mean. Are you there?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Now, Siminalayi Fubara was a staff of Rivers State government. He was working in the Ministry of Finance. Even in my time, I was chief of staff. He was a staff of the Ministry of Finance. When Governor Wike came to office, he promoted him to director of Finance and Administration in government and transferred him to the government house. Few months later, if you know the powers of a DFA, government house, you'll understand what I mean. I said I was chief of staff, and they were all under me. So I know the powers of the DFA in government house. Now,
so you're now saying...
Shortly after.
All right. So what you're trying to say now is that Governor Fubara betrayed Minister Wike, if that is the case. But, I mean, in all of this story...
Not only Minister... No. Hello?
Yes, you wanted to say not only Minister Wike.
Yeah, not only Minister Wike. He betrayed every other person else that stood on his side to even present him as candidate of a party, of their party, the PDP. He could not have made it. Out of 14 of the candidates, of the aspirants for the office of the governorship flag bearer of PDP in Rivers State, Governor Fubara was the only person who was not a politician. And if there was an election, primaries, he would board number 14. But everything was manipulated And through the elders forum of the party, he was produced as candidate of the party.
All right.
He never, can I go on? Let me just give me a bit of time. Now, the 23 local governments, in our history, it is the first time a governorship candidate of a political party won election in the entire 23 local government areas of Rivers State. The first time, very first time. Otherwise, you see 16 and others will share 7 and all that. But in this case, 23 over 23. The 23 local government chairmen, of course, these 21 now that he's fighting, were also returning officers in that election. And the collation centers were in their councils. And apart from spending money, they also protected the results from the councils, from their local government areas. Now, when it was impossible, almost difficult, for INEC to announce Fubara's results, these same local government chairmen took to the streets for 7 days. They were cooking and dancing on the streets, protesting to INEC National to authorize the INEC here to announce that result. And so what has gone wrong? 3 months later, these same people that were following you.
Okocha, thank you for that story. But would you say that what has gone wrong now is that this is the consequence of rewarding loyalty. This is the consequence of rewarding loyalty above competence, integrity, honesty, and capacity.
I quite agree with you. I quite agree with you. I have no defense to that. It is what it is. Okay? Absolutely. And that's why Nigerians and politicians like us should depart from what I call feeding bottle and go for competence. It's the way out. Because when you get somebody who is incompetent, who has no vision, just in the case of our governor, he had never occupied any political office in his whole life. The first election he contested was governorship election, and he won.
Right, so kindly hold on. I'd like us to be very mindful of the kind of what we use on television. But let's move on quickly. Governor Fubara has also said he would probe the administration of the outgoing local government chairman, and of course, former Governor Wike. The local government chairman have said they are not afraid of anything. But do you agree with those who say this will promote and enhance accountability in the state?
I quite agree. What is probe? Probe cannot be seen as negative. Probe can also be positive. If you serve out a tenure in any particular office, I work with the NDDC, I'm the state rep. You mean that after my stay in office, and somebody calls my attention or calls me in for a probe, the probe is about asking questions. What did you do with this? What did you do about this? So I should now take offense. That's not correct. The governor is right. If he says he was going to probe local governments, I don't care. It's also good. It's going to act as a deterrent to any other person that is coming. Because if you are found culpable or you're found guilty of any financial malfeasance, you go for it. What's my business there? All right. I will never support anybody who has done the wrong thing. No. On the issue of probe of Wike, he didn't say he was going to probe Wike. I didn't hear that. Governor Siminalayi Fubara said he was going to probe former administrations in Rivers State. And that is good enough for us. But I had advised him that in all the least tenure, he procured a judgment and a perpetual order restraining the graft agencies from investigating into anything about Rivers State. And that order cascades. Amechi benefited from it. Wike is benefiting from it. He may benefit from it at the end of the day. And we are saying, you know, you are a governor. At least you want to show that you are a Puritan. You are a saint. Go and vacate that order so that everybody will be on clean slate. Again, to probe Wike as governor, how can you, as governor, right now, who served as DFA and a permanent secretary, also in charge of funds, and made accountant general of the state, how can you absolve yourself from whatever you want to probe? Okay, should Wike be invited by any panel? Please, just 1 second, let me finish. Should Wike be invited to a panel and he calls you as a witness or mentions you as a witness or one way or the other, will you be allowed by Section 308 of the Constitution that talks about immunity? Will you be allowed to present yourself before the panel? So how can it be that it will be neutral? Now, you are the one to set up the panel. You have your handout to give to them. It has happened. Is the system in Rivers State? Amechi probed Odili. Odili was found guilty. A white paper was to be produced. Odili went to court and stopped it. Wike probed Amechi, found him guilty. A white paper was also, he went to court. So, it's a process. Because he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Now, allow the graft agencies, who, to a large extent, are neutral in the matter. Take ICPC, take EFCC, to do the investigations. Not the people that you will appoint, because you will give them a handout. And that handout, they must play out. So we said, vacate the order. Okay? So that you too, as a governor, also agree or say that you are dropping your immunity. So that when you are called to the panel to answer to certain issues that the governor that you are, former governor that you are probing, will raise, you will appear. So what's wrong in that?
But Chief Okocha, in what ways do you think this crisis has significantly impacted critical developments in that state and overall impacted governance? I ask this question because considering that Rivers State is the base of the country's oil and gas industry with its inherent wide scope for wider economic prospects than the rest of the country, it should be at par with Lagos. But reverse is the case.
Well, the situation is that the Rivers State is dead. Rivers State used to be a synosio and paragon of excellence. It was a mirror for other states. But everything is dead. What you see now every day is one crisis or the other. The governor is distracting himself. And how can there be development? Now, I'll give you one particular instance. The Port Harcourt International Airport route is dead. You cannot travel from Port Harcourt International Airport to Abuja. You can't. Arik is gone. Dana Air is gone. Mass Air is gone. Air Peace, comes once in a while, long while. Ibom Air comes once in a long while, but they are synonymous with rescheduling of flights and cancelling of flights. Now, take this. Should any Rivers people, because a lot of people have called me, how they have missed their appointments. Some have a job appointment interview, but cannot go because there's no flight. You and I know that the roads are terrible. Apart from being terrible, the other inconveniences, the other problems that are associated with road, kidnap and all of those. And then that the only means of traveling to Abuja or Lagos is the air. Now, for you to travel from Port Harcourt to Abuja, you have to route through Owerri Airport. Owerri Airport is not an international airport. Or you drive straight to Akwa Ibom, Uyo, because you have a business to meet up with. Okay? Or you go to Lagos and route from Lagos to Abuja. In which case, apart from the amount of money involved, because it's double leg now instead of one, the inconveniences, but we have a governor. Yes, aviation is within the purview of the federal government. But the governor can have a talk with the aviation ministry and raise these concerns. And also do what Akwa Ibom is doing in Ibom Air.
All right.
All the flights under Ibom Air cannot all be bought from Akwa Ibom state government. They are on lease agreements with some companies doing business, air flight business. So you see now that in our states, development has taken the back seat. What is at the epicenter now is crisis every other day.
So what do you think are the options available for peace to reign? Because at the moment, there is one party holding... Please go on. Please go on.
Yes. The panacea to peace in Rivers State, as it is today, is that the governor should rein in himself. He has to. He has to understand that he was elected to serve the people, to defend lives and property, which of course is the whole essence of government. He does not have to begin to raise ethnic bias and sentiments.
Okay.
That is dangerous. It could cause ethnic crisis.
All right.
We have said that, yes, all these chants of Asawana, Asawana, Asawana are now typical of this government. It never happened before. Asawana is a chant by a certain section, the job people and all that. And it is a chant that they use in their meetings, in their closets. It is not a chant right now, the way it is, of conscientizing them for war. That is what it is now. So he has to rein in all of these concerns, rein them in. All these negatives should be reined in. If he does so, I have said to you that it is a fight between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Governor Siminalayi Fubara. So he is capable and strong enough to solve the problem.
Tony Okocha, thank you so much for joining us this evening, sir. It's been very interesting speaking with you on this very critical issue. Thank you very much. Chief Tony Okocha, caretaker chairman, ABC.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.